Ferdinand, my dear brother, let me bring out at once what is on my mind. I am forced to wait 8.5 hours between meals in order to make ends meet, and sometimes I wish to just have a roll or an apple. Father sends me a few coins as he can, but they and my pitiful earnings run out all too soon. It is my hope that you will take a lesson from the words of St. Matthew. He that hath 2 clothes, let him give one to the poor, and think of me, your own brother, as the poor. Besides, didn't you use music which I wrote as your own to gain your present position as head of the Lugenfeld choir? And have I not forgiven you? Do you remember the sound of Napoleon's cannon when we took Vienna? We were both at Father's school that day. I was 8 and you were 11. Napoleon ruled our world, and then when I was 18 and you 21, he was gone, defeated at Waterloo. Strange to have lived through the building and collapse of an empire and remain poor and sick for a while. You asked as to what I've been reading. Very little. I continue to be moved primarily by what you used to call my extraordinary impulse to compose. Oh, I hear the world's events now and then. There is news of great doings in the New World. Someone named Simon Bolivar is supposed to be gaining freedom for all sorts of new nations. Exotic places called Colombia, Venezuela, Peru, Bolivia. 2 poets in England claim to be inventing some sort of new style of writing called Romantic. Their names are Coleridge and Wordsworth. I hope that they're doing better with their new concepts than I am with mine. Another of those fellows, a Walter Scott, claims to have invented a new literary form which he calls the historical novel. I'm sure it will come to nothing. The title of his first attempt is certainly a failure. Who would read a book called Ivanhoe? And a man named Audubon has published a volume of art called Birds of North America. Do you think they have that many to fill a book? You ask what I think of this new America that the English can't seem to keep hold of. I think their best president was the one they had when we were boys, that Jefferson fellow. But this new one, this John Quincy something, seems all right. Lord knows he's a turn or 2 better than that Andrew Jackson who researched at Waterloo, the second biggest battle of 1815. After some trifling victory he had over the British at, where was that? New Orleans. Thank God he'll never be their president. I heard recently that a man named John Dalton thinks that all matter is composed of tiny particles. He calls of all things atoms. But dear brother, you well know that my only universe is music. A thought possesses me and I must get it down on paper. Do you remember Joseph von Paul? He was in school with me at the Imperial Court Chapel. He was the violinist ahead of me and later behind me. We're so great friends. I have lately had to make some difficult decisions regarding the purchase of food or paper on which to write my music. Well, Joseph has begun buying the paper for me. I'm most fortunate, really, in that my friends appreciate me fully, but the public knows next to nothing about me. Publishers will not so much look at my works or even accept them as a gift. They say, your works are beautiful, too uncommon. As a composer, you are too unknown. I am convinced that everything thoroughly genuine and original puzzles people at first. I haven't been feeling well lately, but discomfort brings out the passion in my music. Father calls trying to live as a composer a living death, but I call his school teaching a dead living. I have decided to compose a mass of surpassing complexity and glory, and I am certain that I can do it. When you hear my mass, I want you to hear the rustling of the wings of the angel who is calling you home. to the most honorable Imperial and Royal Civic Guard Headquarters, Vienna. Most gracious sirs, with the deepest respect, the undersigned humbly begs that you graciously bestow upon him the vacant position of music director for the provincial capital of Laybach. While it is a fact that my health has not been the best, I am 31 years of age and fully expect to be well and hearty quite soon again. I am even now at work on the manuscript of a great mass, which I would, of course, be honored to debut in the city of Laybach. My present illness and unemployment has served to provide inspiration for the mass, which, after all, is itself a tale of Christ's own glorious triumph over the cruelty which lies behind the pursuit of earthly things. Those works which are the product of pain seem to please the great world most. The exaltation of soul, which is at the heart of the great mass, finds its beginnings within the wonderful words of the Gloria. It is my intention to incorporate the form of the fugue into the Gloria by having a central theme sung by each section of the choir entering in succession. Bach likens the fugue to a blend of two melodies in counterpoint, as if individual voices are having a kind of conversation in song. I shall use the words themselves to set the tone. Laudamus te, we praise you with joy. Benedicimus te, we bless you with reverence. Adoramus te, we adore you in prayer. Glorificamus te, we glorify you in triumph. I shall begin with the basic alone. the day of Beethoven's funeral, overcast, brooding. There were 20,000 lining the streets that day, more than when the emperor died, and I was one of the 36 torchbearers. Beethoven's friend, Herr Schubert, was with him at the end. Schubert told me that Beethoven died with a manuscript of some of my songs in his hand. Beethoven actually told Schubert just before breathing his last that I had the divine fire in me. Ferdinand, those were the very words which Mozart spoke when he first met the 16-year-old Beethoven. Divine fire. And that, like the passing of a torch from the one to the other, and then to me, the torch bearer. Well, my fire has so far netted me next to nothing. I wrote last that I was dedicating a song to Teresa's Wolf, the girl I love. Well, I did. Then I sent her 149 more. It took me that long to work up the courage to propose to her, but I did propose, and she did refuse. She is married to the local baker now, and doing much better than I, especially in the area of food. I may have the fire of genius, but the success has eluded me cleanly. My new mass is going well. I'm working now on the credo. The words themselves continue to provide more than enough inspiration, and God knows I can make use of all the faith I can get. Credo. I believe. I have faith. I must. Diary entry, June 16, 1828. My credo is progressive, but I'm pulled in two directions regarding the feel of the thing. I wanted to finish with a beautiful, joyous melody, representing the glory of God descending from heaven. We flesh as we come and continue sacredly and the light of the world to come. But I also feel a somber mood, an awful contrasting scene filled with the confusion and anguish and sorrow of the crucifixion, of the pain of God become man, as incarnati. I want to create blocks and layers of sound, harmonies of drift into space, jumps and breaks in musical logic, and I believe that the finish of this credo, with its beauty conquering its pain, will do all that and more.
Jennifer Warren. She's an intern from Mansfield High School working under a mentor of Laura Lane to help me out. We welcome you tonight and hope you're having as much fun listening as we are having up here. I'd like to draw the tickets. I hope you filled in the back of the tickets. We have a twofold reason for having you fill in the back of the tickets. Mainly, it's to put your name on our mailing list. Before each performance, we send out a newsletter explaining the performance and explaining how you can get tickets before they go on sale to the public. Both nights were sold out. That's over 1,200 tickets that we sold, so it's exciting. Our second reason is to thank you for coming and to present a door prize. Tonight we have a poster that has been framed for us by Grapevine. We'd like to thank them for contributing that, and especially thank them for being the outlet for our tickets. If you don't win this poster, then you can buy one on your way out. They've been signed by our artist, Rock Hall, and we have them for sale for $5 to cover the cost of publishing the poster out front. Jennifer? Kathy Graves.
Diary entry, June 17, 1828. I am the most unfortunate and miserable man in the world. My friends are so adoring of me that they have taken to calling themselves Schubertians and distributing copies of some of my work at their own expense. But I am averaging payment by publishers for my songs of only 20 cents a piece. And that only if I include the original manuscript and all future rights. I tried sending my music for guests that Earl came to get to himself, but he never even wrote back. I have no sense for business. The heart is ruler, but the mind should be. I choose purely on emotion to sacrifice formal grace on behalf of exuberance. I recently wrote 300 pages of manuscript on a new opera in 7 days. But what good is it doing me? The only paying position I can get is with Count Esterhazy, living out in Zealous, in Hungary, in his servant's quarters, teaching his children. Meanwhile, I was recently told that one of my 20-cent tunes made the publisher $15,000. Made me choke on it. Mother always said that I spent too much time on music and not enough on the rest of my responsibilities. Not a day goes by that I fail to remember her last words to me. She lay there, I bent down, she whispered, "You're a stupid idle good for nothing." But then again, I never have composed in the morning. It is the constant flow of inspiration that fires me. My eyesight has become so bad that some mornings I've awakened with a melody in my brain only to lose it during the search for my spectacles. I have therefore begun sleeping with my spectacles on, so as not to miss another inspiration. My mass has reached the constant. Holy, 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 Lord God of hosts, heaven and earth are filled with thy glory.
Diary entry, June 18th, 1828. This afternoon, a young man asked me, as I was eating in a restaurant, if I would write a quick melody for a poem he had composed. Is that what I am reduced to? Am I a tune writer for boys in restaurants? I told him no. I told him there is glory, there is genius in me. More and more, I feel deep inner sorrow, depression, grief, and bitterness as my nobility of spirit meets the actualities of life. I recently wrote to the Emperor requesting a position which has become available at the court chapel. Herr Salieri has promised to write him a letter of recommendation on my behalf. Perhaps with Salieri's help, my career will finally take a turn for the better. My Mass is at the Benedictus. I have a grand plan for a quartet of soloists to converse with the choir in song. What better time to be writing a blessing than when I am so depressed? The Benedictus, reminding us all, blessed, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord.
1828. I'm still feeling unwell, unable to hold out any food. I've been working on melodies for songs based on the words of Goethe, Schiller, and my good friend Johann Applebaum. Johann's poetry reveals the conflict between idealism and reality, the lesson I need to learn. Although my ongoing gloom seems to result in a constant outpouring of composition, all my life my love has been repaid with sorrow. But in this sorrow, out of the soil of my suffering, blossoms my song. Blossoms anew the gift of love. That is God's blessing in man. My Mass is almost complete. I plan to introduce for the first time in the piece the C minor theme, with its sense of foreboding and frustration, and contrasted with the original tonality of the Mass of B flat major. The Agnus Dei had two main C minor themes. The Dona Nobis Pacem will be in a major key. The major key will bring out the positive, will be hopeful, optimistic. The minor key will be darker, somber, more apprehensive, filled with foreboding. I don't know exactly why this part of the Mass makes me feel hope and terror at once. It reminds me of the toast my friends and I drank to Beethoven after his funeral. We lifted our glasses and said, "To him we have just buried." And then we toasted one more time, "To him who will be next." I wonder who will be next. I have so much more to do before my own time comes. And yet, am I hearing the rustling of the wings of the angel who is calling me home? On this day, Lamb of God, who takes away the sins of the world, have mercy on us. Lamb of God, who takes away the sins of the world, have mercy on us. Lamb of God, who takes away the sins of the world, grant me peace.
And I have two things I'm supposed to say. First off, I want to take just a quick minute to thank Father Peter and all the staff here at the Abbey. It's been so wonderful to be out here and have this wonderful stage to sing on and to play on. And they've been very, very helpful. I'd also like to give a special word of thanks publicly to the board of Northlake Performing Arts Society. I have never, ever seen such a volunteer group that works as hard with such a high sense of professionalism. Whether it is staying up till 4:30 in the morning to make sure the program is just right, or whether it's sending out letters or postcards or newsletters, they really, really work hard. And without them, none of this would be happening. And they are certainly to the credit. I'd like to thank this wonderful orchestra for coming. Many of them drove in from Baton Rouge and helped us have this wonderful evening tonight. And mostly the singers themselves and their families for letting us have our addiction to music. Thank you so much. At Northlake Performing Arts, we believe in elevating the human spirit through the arts. We believe in it very strongly. It's part of our mission statement. If you notice in your program, it says great music can inspire people to make great changes in our lives, our community, and our culture, and we all really believe that. That's why we're doing all of this. That's fun. And while Schubert's life was filled with poverty and sickness, his music is a testament to that human spirit because it is filled with so much joy and triumph and hope. And we hope we've been able to convey that to you tonight. Ron Paul's art is also filled with all of those things. We felt like he would be a wonderful addition to this evening and complement what all was going on. Last but not least, I need to tell you that a venture like this is tremendously expensive. All those tickets that we sold to all of our concerts last year, we spent to hire this wonderful orchestra tonight. So that's all gone. We're starting over, and we appreciate your support. That's the end of the commercial. And lastly, I just want to thank you for coming out on a rainy, cold, kind of drab evening. I hope that you feel like I do, that we have kind of been warmed by the common experience of meeting the composer, Franz Schubert, and his music. Thank you so much for coming tonight.